Welcome to the Cincy Postcast. I'm Kevin Wallace, and before we get started with today's episode, I want to tell you about our great friends over at Streetside Brewery, where I was able to watch the game. Okay, we talk a little bit about it, but I was able to watch the Chicago Fire game at Streetside. Lovely environment, lovely people. It's great. This is the day before they threw a Flying Pig Marathon party. And if you're over on the east side of Cincinnati, the Columbia Tusculum area, you could do a lot worse than Streetside Brewery because, my God, it is a great spot to be. And the events they have are awesome. I mean, just this week, they have the Return of Vaderade on May the 4th. Little Star Wars themed beer going on. Cinco de Mayo, of course, they're celebrating that. And Steve Day on May 8th. Yeah, that's a celebration of everybody named Steve. So go check them out. Streetside Brewery, fantastic little brewery, Eastern Avenue. You will have a good time. And heck, I was able to buy a 4-pack at my local Sunoco to enjoy at home. Go look for the beautiful, colorful cans. You can't miss them. So huge thank you for checking out Streetside. And thank you, Streetside, for sponsoring this episode. And on this episode, oh boy, what a fun game. What a fun win, huh? How about that? This team, in just a couple of weeks, has turned around the idea of giving up the first goal being a death sentence into giving up the first goal maybe being a good sign for how the evening is going to go. Come from behind victories. Roman Celentano, penalty hero. Evander, we don't praise him enough. First hat trick? Are you kidding me? There's a 17-year-old still killing it in the middle of that back line. Oh my gosh, this team is so much fun. Damon Gumbert from the Post was there on site, able to ask everybody questions. Thank you to everybody who helped put that together, to give us the resources to make that happen. That was amazing. Put it all together. My God, you got yourselves one nice little postcast. Joining me to talk about all of that and more, I'm joined by two gentlemen, one of which ran 13.1 miles this morning, joined by the Chief, but of course, joined by the Iron Man himself, Grayson. Grayson, how are we doing this evening?
I'm doing all right. I kind of running on fumes at this point because I did not sleep well last night.
Oh no.
I don't know. I got maybe a couple of hours last night. It was just a weird thing with, I think, the FC game happening. And then I don't know. I think I was maybe a little amped up from that. And then you get to a point where I'm like, oh, I have to fall asleep. If I don't fall asleep, I'm going to be so tired tomorrow. And that just keeps me up. And then it's like, oh, it's too hot. My shoulder's itchy.
Yep.
Did the thought cross your mind, maybe I don't go to sleep?
I mean, I thought there was like a moment where, and I think I did like kind of drift in and out a bit, but I did basically wake up like I think I saw like every hour of the clock overnight. Like I saw like 2 a.m. I saw 3 a.m. I saw 4 a.m.
Right. And then you have like that existential panic moment where it's like, oh God, I haven't gotten enough sleep tonight. Like I'm not going to get enough sleep. I'm not going to fall asleep in enough time. Like it's the moment has already passed. Even if I fell asleep right now, it's too late. I'm not going to get enough. Yeah.
And I like was not, I was not trained, sufficiently for this thing.
Oh, no.
The kind of my background with it is like, I did the half like 10 years ago and I did the full in 2018.
Oh, damn.
And I got injured training for the full. Like I was in a walking boot for the month of February, basically.
Oh no!
Did the bull come back for revenge?
No. It's good training though.
So like, I barely got through the full, because I was starting from like walking a mile in late February to rehab my foot.
Jeez.
And then I just never was healthy, so I gave up like running entirely. So I had been like dipped in and out of like short distances for periods of time, but like not consistently. And then it certainly was less than 10 weeks ago. And I could tell you how I know this in a second. I signed up I was convinced to sign up for the half by a friend who was running it. And the
hell with that guy.
Yeah. I pulled up like the Peloton like training program, and it's 10 weeks. And I was like, well, I don't have time to finish this. But I did what I could, but like, I didn't finish it. I ended up like 3 weeks shy of it, 3.5 weeks.
Okay.
Because some of that fell into ski season too. And like, we
got to prioritize.
It's got to take precedence. So like last Saturday, like just over a week ago, I ran 8 miles, and that was the longest distance that I'd run since 2018. And then
before that, 5 more to go.
The week before that, I did 6, and that was the longest distance that I had run since 2018. So
perfect. You were peaking at the right time here.
But I say we had great weather. We had great weather today.
Yep.
I didn't have like a good time by any means, but I didn't walk. I stayed a jogger higher the entire time. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm pretty happy with that situation.
We didn't walk large chunks of it. That's good. That's
right.
good.
Except for like, grabbing like a water, right?
So, sure. You take your moment.
Yeah. I love how Kevin introed this podcast saying someone ran the half pig, and there was like not even a hesitation that it wasn't going to be me.
The hell of an intro for myself too.
Yeah, that wasn't even on the table last night.
So once upon a time, in high school, was seeing a girl whose dad was really into running and did like half marathons and 10Ks regularly.
Were they a turkey trot family? Because that's the worst family to marry into.
I think there was like a sacredness around Thanksgiving that like turkey trot didn't enter, but like running was on the table at all times. And so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll sign up for the half marathon. How bad could it be? Just like no concept of what I was actually signing up for. And what I never put together, because I was a disorganized high school student, was that the Flying Pig Marathon, which, as Grayson said, happens very early in the morning at like 6:30 in the morning, was the morning after prom. And there was like prom and after prom, and we ended up like being done with the prom activities at like 1 or 2 in the morning.
This is 4D chess from her old man.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, like we get you guys involved in the Flying Pig. And there'll be no extracurriculars on prom night. You guys got to go to bed for the race.
There was never a more miserable moment in my sort of physical activity life than trying to do that marathon to the point where walking it was beyond. We had multiple moments because me and her were both walking it like, do we just quit? Should we just... Nobody's going to know if we just quit.
Right.
We finished it. We were finishing with like folks much older, folks in like what felt like wheelchairs and any other sort of mobility assist.
Every so often on Reddit, like it'll percolate up to the top of the For You page. Like, what is the craziest thing you've ever done to get laid? Signing up for a half marathon. It's pretty far up there, I would have to say.
Man, just like being blindsided like 2 days before, like, oh God, these are both the same weekend. It was miserable. Oh man.
I was sound asleep this morning. Sorry about that.
Damn. That's because Chief was out late last night partying.
That's absolutely
I know
true.
this for a fact.
We because Kevin and
Where
I,
were you?
we ended up at the same watering hole, street side neighborhood brewery, and we ended up cutting an impromptu episode of the postcast together for an entire table of people watching this game last night. we had Sean, the social media czar, was out as well. Nick Kivy was out. It was a great turnout at Street Side last night.
Yeah,
and it turns out, Grayson, you could have joined and not lost a minute of sleep.
Yeah. You were missing out. Hell, you would have gotten a jump start on the half marathon. We were right there on the race course. Okay,
so half didn't go by Street Side.
Oh, damn! That's right.
Yeah.
It was a good time. There was a birthday party going on, and I want to say, hey, shout out to Jay, my season ticket seatmate. I've made a friend as a newly acquainted or newly acquired, newly anointed season ticket holder. Listener of the show, sits next to us.
It's unfortunate for him.
He was at Streetside celebrating his birthday, and that was amazing. They had a great turnout for the birthday party. So if you weren't invited to Jay's birthday, you missed it.
No, I mean, good job, Kevin, shilling for the sponsor right there, getting your seat made out for his birthday. Hopefully we don't have a promo code there anymore, but hopefully they mentioned frequently that the reason why I'm celebrating my birthday here is because of a podcast. Yes. I would have gone to some competing location, except for that wonderfully unlistenable podcast this guy has that sits next to me at the game.
There were a couple other people as well that stopped by that said, hey, love the show, which tells me we were being loud, Chief.
Yeah.
our voices were heard across the bar.
Yeah. It was one of those games. What can I say?
Next year, if you guys speaking of sponsorships, next year, if the podcast pays for my entry, I will, because there's a lot of FC people. A lot of people are running an FC. A lot of spectators with FC. I can just throw out some listen to the postcasts as I'm going.
Oh my god! What is something small, lots of, that you could throw as you're running that would have some sort of listen to the postcast or even a QR code? We got to come up with something.
I know the answer to this.
Johnny Appleseed-esque. Yeah.
I know the answer to this is I smacked the microphone right here because I was so excited about this. Someone in this city, this great community we all call home, needs to pick up the mantle for, I don't know that I would call him a great American. He was certainly an American, but a man you might know, Kevin, a man that Grayson definitely knows. One, Steve Shabbat, throwing the cups with his own face out at every church festival and every parade back in the day. I think we need the little plastic postcast cups. Like everyone's grandmother on the West Side has an entire cabinet full of these stupid cups that used to get thrown out at every event, church festival, parade. I'd just like to see Grayson with a backpack full of plastic drinkware just throwing it out to people on the route. He comes to the water station. He's like, no. I brought my own, and I brought more for everybody else.
Could we? I mean, this feels expensive given the profile of the Flying Pig. We got to sponsor a water station, and all of the cups are our mini cups.
They're probably
now, I know
expensive.
the cups are thrown away, but I think it would be fun still.
What would it cost to print some Dixie cups with like the post on it?
I don't know. We got to find this out.
No, I want plastic cups. I want these cups when they throw them away to like actually be plastic waste that's around the city, and that other people might pick them up and see. Who is this awful organization polluting our great city? Oh, it's the post.
You don't have to do a like official sponsored stop anyway. Like there are people that just pull tables out and do their own thing. Like there were dudes,
Street Side, I've got an idea.
there were dudes giving out like little cups of bourbon.
That's fun.
There were had like a cup of beer stand that I think was
Kevin,
official.
bleep that out.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Don't mention that.
A brewery.
Thank you.
This is on the half, so the half didn't go by street side, but a brewery had one that seemed official, that had cups of beer, and then there were just like some dudes later on who they took it upon themselves.
just passing out for the love of the game. I love that. Yep. I was thinking like Pogs. Like Pog-esque, like small paper coins that you could
slammers.
Just have. Well,
just throwing slammers into the crowd.
That's right. I was thinking, something gentle.
The ones
you
with
could grab a fistful.
The ones that looked like throwing stars.
Yeah.
No,
you should definitely have an edge to it.
On one side, it's got the Post logo. On the other side, it's got the Pro Referees logo with like a nose sign through it. You're like, what are these for? It's like, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, it'll make sense once you start listening.
Like, bring it to the game. You'll figure out what to do.
So obviously, like Pogs had like, some of them were branded, right? Some of them had like characters you knew and stuff. Others just had like, Pepe the Frog aesthetic stuff going on.
It was big hologram energy. Like there was a lot of skull hologram slammer things.
Like stuff that, and I gotta say, I just realized this. The only other place that I really see that aesthetic, well, I guess maybe NFTs would have that kind of share that aesthetic a bit, but a lot of like skis and snowboards people get with what I can only describe as like, I would have thought this was a cool logo in the 90s when I was a small child.
I'm wondering, there's some crossover with like,
and I wonder if it's like the same generation.
Yeah. I mean, the other area where that aesthetic is still reigns supreme, I assume. I haven't bought one of these shirts ever in my life, but the Affliction shirt that used to be real popular with like the MMA culture about like 10 years ago, that had big Pog slammer energy as well.
Yeah, it did. It did for sure.
Damn. Big, it's my weekend with the kids energy.
I had never,
or it would be my weekend with the kids if I wouldn't have, flunked the last test I took.
Whoops.
I had never, I think, seen an Affliction shirt until I went to school with a guy who was from Los Angeles. And he would wear Affliction t-shirts, and I just called him like Affliction guy, and I thought it was just, you're a cool LA dude, that's what you wear. But it wasn't until later I realized, no, it's for cool MMA dudes.
Yeah, or tap out shirts.
Was that guy
tap out?
Yeah.
Oh, remember tap out?
One of the greatest finds I ever saw in the wild, and I was like looking for it to buy unironically. It was a combination Coleraine football tap out shirt. It had the Coleraine Cardinals logo and then tap out on the back. And I was like, I want to buy this and wear this unironically everywhere I go.
What if you just totally changed like your entire aesthetic to like lean into like, I'm just wearing tap out. I'm just drinking Black Rifle coffee. I'm doing the colloidal silver
anymore.
Yeah.
It must be nice to just be able to like, one of the great struggles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like one of the great struggles in life is like finding your way, finding your path, finding, what makes you happy, experiencing different experiences to accumulate that, to create and cultivate what is ultimately your life and your experience on earth. And rather than go through all of that, how nice is it to just be able to sign up and just be like, yeah, I'll take all of the above of this thing, please. And you're set. They got your drinks, your food, your music, your wardrobe, your car. It's all taken care of for you. You don't need to worry about anything.
Do podcasts, because like a lot of these stuff that's advertised on podcasts, like obviously they share like lifestyle aesthetics, right? They share like identity markers and whatever. And so, and a lot of them are also like subscription model based, right?
Of course.
Do they sell like just like a bundle? You can just like, I'll take the whole Rogan.
It's like a Stitch Fix box where it's like a curated culture of, it's like you listen to the Joe Rogan podcast. You subscribe up to this monthly service for $500 a quarter. You will receive a curated collection of Affliction shirts, jeans that are about a half size too small, belt buckles that are about a half size too big, and your choice of Cuban link jewelry that you can wear on top of your t-shirt. And every month it's sent to you. And if you what you like, you keep. What you don't like, you send back, and we'll apply that credit to the next go around. I love this. This is a great marketing opportunity for podcasts. Like, you can do the same thing for like Call Her Daddy, and it's like it's for a completely different audience, but the basic concept remains the same. Surely you could negotiate discounted rates with the individual. This is like I'm like I would say like a podcast bundling manager or like a PBM. Yeah.
Oh, this is good. Yes, I like where this is going.
I negotiate rates. I get cheaper rates than they would charge the person directly, and I get to keep like a portion or all maybe of the difference.
I think this is how InfoWars stayed on the air for a really long time, except it was for things that like drink your own urine and, buckets of food that stay good for 50 years.
The food insurance is my favorite scam, and I feel like a real sucker for not having gotten into food insurance, which is you give us a little bit of money every month, and if the world ends, we'll make sure you get food.
We'll be the only thing that will be the only method of the supply chain that still stays up.
Oh, and if we don't get it to you, good luck finding a rule of law to sue us in, let alone a court, just a functioning set of rules.
So when I was an intern for a radio station company in an unnamed American city, I would make a point to like, because I worked for like all the stations, so I'd make a point to like listen to the different stations to kind of familiarize myself with like what was going on. And one of them was a news talk station, not dissimilar to one that may be in town here. And it had exactly the kinds of shows you think. I listened to hours of Mark Levine and Sean Hannity and Glenn Beck. And the big thing on Glenn Beck in particular was because everybody was on like the buy gold kick.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously.
But Glenn, he was selling non-hybrid seeds.
Yeah. For when the world ends, you want to make sure that you got the pure source stuff, because the stuff that they've hybridized, that's how the globalists are going to control our food supply in the future. And having access to these non-hybridized seeds will be the only way you can ensure your family's freedom in the coming years.
So what I suggest that we sell is heirloom dirt.
Okay. Where are you going to put your non-hybrid seeds?
Well, you don't want to plant non-hybrid seeds. You want the heirloom dirt that already has like the natural biome contained within it.
Nice.
Right?
So good.
These are like specifically from someplace that hasn't been corrupted.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Wait, I have a better idea. Like, because we can tie it to this podcast here. We can scam people.
Okay.
What if we got to wait probably another 2 to 3 years on this one? Like, you got to let enough time pass. Okay. What if we sell people dirt from the first season of FC Cincinnati home games at Nippert Stadium?
I like it.
I got no problem with it.
Yeah.
I don't see a single problem with it.
No whatsoever. No, you can have dirt from the field that FC Cincinnati played its inaugural home season on.
No, I understand.
For the low price of like, $100, we can guarantee we'll put a certificate of authenticity that you will know for a fact that the 2019 inaugural FC Cincinnati team played on this dirt.
There's literally nothing wrong with this. It's incredible.
No. I mean, can you think about that? Can you imagine a new fan right now thinking, man, I'm upset I missed the Nippert Stadium years, but now you can own a piece of that pitch that they played on.
Right. And like, who's going to stop you from getting it? Because they're like, you can't take this. I'm like, what do you mean I can't take this natural dirt from the ground? You can't own the ground.
Come on.
The ground? You could own like a part of the planet Earth? That's crazy.
Who do you think you are?
Right. then maybe for like another, they can do a combo deal, $100 for dirt, and then $200 gets you a packet of seeds that is the same variety of grass used at Nippert Stadium, and you can grow your own piece of the Nippert Stadium pitch.
FC Cincinnati doesn't want you to know this one cool trick that gets you an entire Nippert Stadium field.
Can we shape the dirt like a Gary the Lion?
Yes. Shape it however we want. Yeah, make Gary Chia Pet. Exactly. Grow the actual.
It's not a chia pet because we're not using chia seeds, and also we're not, unless Chia wants to. Chia's a company, right? They can sponsor us.
I think Chia Pet's probably a trademark name.
That's what we
say. Chia Pets, Pogs. Like, we are doing absolutely nothing to change the demographic of this show. It's another episode of Old Man Ultras. 2 weeks in a row. We're back.
We can sell them in packs of 6 or 7.
Yeah, for the kids.
The kids love that.
Yeah, yes. Obviously.
Man, I think
if we do more of this, we can send Damon to more. Yeah, we can send Damon to more away games. Like that would be awesome.
If you buy now, we'll include a little jaw hammer. So you can kind of make your jaw nice and
clavicular.
Nice and tight. You can chip your bones away, and
you can look smacks a little bit more there. Yeah,
one random peptide of our choice, just one little starter pill to get you going.
And if you sign up for the yearly subscription, we can also get you some of Callicular's favorite meth from Burnett Woods.
Yeah.
Locally sourced,
heirloom, artisanal,
heritage. It's heritage meth
bought from an authentic local meth head.
Hashtag support small business.
Local maker.
Yeah.
Oh.
Craftsman.
Entrepreneur. We are encouraging entrepreneurship in our community.
We're declaring it an entrepreneurial zone.
A free trade zone, if you will. I like this.
Chop it up.
Burnett Woods, a.k.a. Hamsterdam.
Flying pigs. All ties together.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Well,
Evander.
How about
Evander?
How about Evander? Remember we said Evander was washed? Couldn't be us.
No,
I don't think we said that. So I think we're in the clear on.
So the game happened. I want to say huge thank you to Damon Gumber for being our human guinea pig in a away day credential acquisition. It seems to have gone well. It seems to have been a overall success. So thank you to Damon for doing that. Go check out his account. Go check out what he wrote up on the website. It's all good. Very, very lovely stuff being captured there. That was awesome. And thank you, listeners, for supporting the show to the point where we were financially able to do that. Thank you to our sponsors for letting us financially do that. That was really cool. And hopefully we send Damon to more away days. So that was really fun. So
yeah, I thought it was neat to time it. I thought it was neat to time it 2 days before the last year's away days video comes out. That was a nice bit of synergy.
Homage.
Nice homage. Yeah, no.
So by the time you're listening to this,
I have a large work project to write tonight after we're done taping. I cannot do that. I have a very big thing due Wednesday.
Well, eventually it'll see the light of day. But man, what a game. I think top line, this is one of the more definitely not like the biggest win in FC Cincinnati. I don't think it enters that. It's certainly one of the more entertaining wins that I can remember. And I will say, for me, I enjoyed thoroughly watching the game, not just the environment and the company and all that. I thought the game was good and fun. And I look at the stats afterwards and it tells me FC Cincinnati was terrible and Chicago should have won by 100 goals. And I didn't get that impression watching the game. Was I just not paying close enough attention?
No, you were. It wasn't that. There's a couple of things when you look at the underlying metrics in this game that I think probably bear like looking at. Like FC Cincinnati, if you go back and you check FOTMob, they got slaughtered on the XG in this game. And the primary reason for that is that the XG does not give a lot of credit for Evander taking a wide open shot at the top of the 18-yard box. That is for him, a really, really good shot for him. He is not contested by anyone. This is not a worldie that he scores from that spot. He has no one marking him in the ability to pick out any spot in the goal that he wants to shoot at. And they don't assign that the same level of XG as they would just because of how XG is calculated. They also don't get a lot of credit on the XG chart for Evander's tap-in goal later in the game. For some reason, XG doesn't consider that. Basically, to me, that's a 0.8, 0.9 XG chance right there. He is on the doorstep of the goal. It's a straight tap in the center mass right there. Doesn't get a lot of credit for that. And then the other thing is that in the big picture of this game, they go down a man. They play every bit of the last 40 minutes of actual game activity in this game, the victim of a red card playing 10v11. And they have to defend. They get pushed back deep. Chicago is able to take and fire off a lot of shots because that's generally what happens when you go down a man on the road. So, no, I don't think that the numbers really in this case bear out that this was an ass kicking. FC Cincinnati still generate nearly 2 XG of opportunities and goal scoring opportunities. They generate good chances consistently. They pass and possess the ball, what I would say decently, until the game state is changed by the red card. But no, I think if you walk, I said this last night, walking like in the middle of the game, I fully anticipated that after the red card, this team was going to lose 3-2, and I was going to be okay with the result because of what I saw on the field. And it turns out that wasn't the case. They win 3-2, and I'm even happier about what this game was last night.
So I would throw in addition to what you said, that if you look at the first half especially, which is the half where I thought we looked pretty good.
Yeah.
We did have more of the ball than Chicago, 54%. We completed more passes, about 43 more passes than Chicago at a slightly better passing percentage.
Yeah.
Chicago had 3 big chances, but they did score 2 of them. They only missed one of their quote unquote big chances. And for some reason, it only has us at 1 big chance, which was Evander's tap in for the half. Yeah. And obviously he scored, but then the numbers on that tap in were, it was a 0.41 XG, but a 0.9 expected goal on target.
Right.
So like 0. So like pretty good. And his shot from outside the box was only 0.13 XG, but it was 0.41 expected goal on target, which is like the same XG as Evander's tap in. Right. But that's not weird. Considered to be like a big chance, I guess, because of, I know why, because they're not looking at expected goal on target when they're saying like, what's a big chance? Right. But that's also a shot that Evander is going to put on target, with that much space he has and like right at the top of the box.
Right.
And Chicago had about a little more than double our expected goals in that first half, but the expected goals on target, pretty equal.
Yeah. And also it's like the XG that Chicago generates in this first half, especially off 2 Hugo Kuiper's goals, They're both deflected shots.
Yeah.
So it's again, you watch this game
and deflections to Kuipers. At least one of them was like a deflection straight to Kuipers.
Yeah.
From Anunga.
And then when Kuipers gets the ball, the shot's deflected where, I know XG is an interesting stat. And I agree with the general principle that the more often that you the more often that you get into good positions and generate high XG opportunities, the better off you're going to be in a long run. But I forget who we had on the show that was talking about this. And they're like, yeah, it's an interesting stat over the course of a year, but it's subject to a lot of noise game to game. And looking at it in any one particular game doesn't tend to tell you a lot about what happened that's different than what your eyeball test will tell you. And the eyeball test on this is especially in the first half, is that they got a little lucky with the goals they scored. They were generating good chances, but that first goal that Kuipers scores, it's deflected and it sort of rolls slowly into the net because Roman is out of position to deal with the deflection. Second goal, it's another deflection. To me, when we watch this first half, and when I watch this first half, it's like, yeah, the FC scored 2 real man-ass goals, and Chicago kind of got some slop, some stuff where you'd pass the cue ball to somebody else if it went in the pocket off that. And I don't know, like, yeah, on balance, Chicago's a dangerous offensive team. Nothing about what you watched last night should have been any different than what you expected going into it. They have a really, really good, probably the most informed striker in MLS right now. He's annoying to play against, and he looks like, Shooter McGavin playing soccer. They've got a really, really good winger that's somehow not a designated player, that's only a TAM player, and they've got good complementary pieces around them. They were going to get theirs in this game. But what was good for me watching this is that every time they got a little bit of momentum in this game, the FC answered right back and brought the game level. It's like they go up 1, immediate response. They go up 2, immediate response. And that, to me, was the story of this game for FC Cincinnati.
Yeah, and when you look at the second half is really more responsible for the bottom line stat sheet of this match, the underlying numbers, than the first half. And 2 things happen in the second half that I think probably would have contributed to it. Although the first one, I'm not super confident on, just because I haven't gone back to watch, but a decision was made that I think was defensible and probably ultimately right, to take Brian Nunga out of the game at halftime. Move, correct me if I'm wrong on this, move Guidi up to midfield.
Yes.
And put in Nick Hagland into the back line.
Yes.
That I think was meant to stabilize the defense, try to clean up the errors, because Anunga did not cover himself in glory in the first half.
No,
but it
not
also
on the goals.
But it also made the back line a little worse with the ball.
Yeah. But that was by design. I think Pat Noonan even said it in the press conference, is that we're absorbing and playing on our back heel, and we're not looking to possess and move forward. We're just looking to defend here, and that's what you got.
But we were late. I mean, so we were defending more later in the second half, more on the back heel. But overall in the first half, we weren't. In the second half, we certainly were. And it's the bigger impact was obviously in the 54th minute or whatever. Kyle Smith gets a red card.
Yep.
And so the team goes down a man, and they play the last 36 minutes of the game down a man. And for me, and FOTMob doesn't really allow me to isolate this, but I kind of feel like you can throw out the possession and number of shots stats out after the 54th minute, because you know how that game was always going to look,
especially on the road. Yeah. They're just going, they're 2-2. They're playing for a draw at that point. Get your point and move on.
You're not playing soccer. You're not playing soccer anymore. You're doing something else.
So what do you guys make of the fact that Noonan ran that lineup back? That they went from, no changes from the New York Red Bulls game in terms of starting 11. I know that there were still some fitness issues in the 11 in terms of they knew that Miazga was not 90 minutes fit or even probably 30 minutes fit. They didn't think Hagland was a full 90 minutes fit. But you still have a lineup that you run out there in this match where on the bench, which I think is interesting here, is that you have a bench that includes Gilberto Flores, who is still fully healthy and still fully a center back, and Ender Echenike, who is still fully healthy and fully a wing back. And yet on the back line, they are starting a U22, just not the U22 center back and Sammy Guidi. And on the wing, they are starting a midfielder, Pavel Buka. I look at this, and maybe I'm crazy. I look at this as really positive from Pat Noonan.
Yeah.
That there is a clear idea that he has that he wants to play with this team, but he is not so obstinate as to ignore what is working directly in front of him. And in the broadcast, they do these meetings with the coaches, and there were enough context clues listening to when they talked about the lineup that you could tell Pat doesn't love what they're doing right now. But I give him credit for running it back when there were very clear options in front of him to not do that.
He doesn't. Yeah. So I think you did identify, I think, a couple. You did identify, I think, a couple of key decisions that Pat was making. But some of it is his hands are tied. Okay, so you can throw in Flores for one of these guys, but Pat said it after the game. Nick and Matt were not 45, or certainly Matt wasn't 45 minutes fit.
Right.
I think Pat said after the game that he was nervous about Matt's status given how long the stoppage time went.
There was a lot of standing around, though, which helped, I think, a lot in the stoppage time.
But it did go long.
So like Matt was not startable, for health reasons. Nick probably wasn't startable. So,
or if he was coming out at halftime no matter what.
Yeah. So then you have the three guys who started in Flores, and the three guys who started looked pretty good against Red Bulls, and Flores has looked really bad sometimes. And then you, I think so then you pull Guidi back, and you can't put Obi in the midfield. So Anunga and Dotto and Buka are your options, right? For the midfield. But I would worry starting Ender with that back three, because Ender's game is so dribbly. Mm-hmm. Like, are you asking to create transition opportunities that puts pressure on your young and cheap and out of position center backs?
And you're already doing that with Ramirez on the left side.
Right. And I'm not trying to, I'm not downplaying like the choices. I think I saw people online giving Pat grief about these options. And I think more traditional options would have been worse.
But we've seen this team do. We've seen this team, and we've seen Pat Noonan do this in the past. And if you were to take this like Pat Noonan from last year and put him in this situation, your starting lineup would have been a back line of Flores, Shirilla, and Kyle Smith. Your wingbacks would have been Brian Ramirez and Ender Echenique. Your midfield would have been Pavel, Ender, Anunga, and Evander, and your strikers would have been Kevin Denke and Tom Barlow. That's the like they can put out there.
You put Ender in there twice, but otherwise fine.
Geedy, but yeah.
Geedy, yeah. But like they had the players there to play a full ass FC Cincinnati style 3-5-2.
Yeah, and
they chose not to. They chose to do what had worked, and it is. I don't want it to get lost, and I don't want it to overstep, because we criticize Noonan a lot. The fan base criticizes Noonan a lot. It's ballsy to have a healthy Ender Echenique, and you're playing Pavel Buka, someone who has been identified in MLS media circles and circles around the league as being one of the most underrated and effective midfielders, who is on the radar for his national team as a midfielder, and you are playing him out of position at wingback. It's ballsy to have a $1 million transfer fee striker, a supplemental guy who is an MLS veteran who has scored goals for this team this year, and you're sitting both of them for a super draft pick from the University of Dayton and Moba Dem.
Yeah,
it's ballsy to have a U22 center back, and you're playing, again, a midfielder out of position by choice on your back line. Why? Because we liked the way it looked. It looked good, and we're going to keep rolling with it. That's just not something that Pat Noonan has done in previous years, and I think it deserves a shout out. It deserves some credit from people when they say he is rigid, he is inflexible, that he is too conservative. This is atypical for Noonan. And yeah, some of these choices have been forced on him, but there's a lot of stuff that they've been doing the last 2.5 weeks that has been fully the choice and the decision of management on this team.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the one thing I would push back on there, Chief, is Noonan hasn't done this in a long time. Because keep in mind, this is how the sort of FC Cincinnati formation and style of play came about, which was a pragmatic, the team looks shit the way we thought we would want to play, time to change it up. Hey, this kind of worked, and stuck with it. Eventually, they found a couple more pieces to filter in, and they won a supportership. They look like one of the best teams in a long time in this league doing that. And I do think there's a commitment to, well, this worked. It's a pragmatism of, well, this worked. Why would we go out and just radically change it? Last year we were a point off the supporter shield. You might not have liked how pretty it was, but this team, got the results when it needed the results. And now we're at the point in the season where you can't really lean on the results and say, well, it's working. It wasn't. And when forced into this weird amalgamation, and obviously they see things in training, it worked against Red Bulls, and Red Bulls, not the best team in the East. But I don't think anybody that played last week deserved to lose their job going into this one. And you see what happens. And Chicago hasn't lost yet this year at home. In fact, they'd only drawn once at home up until, granted, the Open Cup. I'm going to sort of dismiss that for a moment. So yeah, this was a great result, and I think this speaks to a pragmatism that Noonan, as you said, doesn't get enough credit for, and I think this is really good to see with this team. I like it,
and they were moved. They have looked these last 2.5 games really good at times with the ball. The team passing has been greatly improved.
Yeah.
And it has allowed them to keep the opponent from scoring as much as they were giving up, or at least played a part in preventing the opponent from scoring as much as their opponents were. before they kind of changed things up. And I think a big part of that is by being more effective with the ball, you're limiting the pressure that the other team can put on your defense, right? By being able to break a press, by not giving up the ball so easily, by getting the ball into more advanced situations. So that's, so like the team is had games with a lot of expensive defenders out there where they've gotten destroyed. And I don't think it's necessarily because those defenders are bad in every case. A lot of it's because they were not putting those defenders in positions. They were putting those defenders in difficult situations. And, and so when you look at how they've been playing, you could see a team with a Miles Robinson and a healthy Miazga playing with Sharilla that remains fully capable of moving the ball and like they've been moving the ball, but also is sounder defensively when they do get pressure.
So you want to put that into numbers, because numbers, I think, are, they do help tell stories a little bit of what we're doing right here. You look at FC Cincinnati, you just want to talk about the passing getting better. That's real. If you look at the passing numbers for this game last night, FC Cincinnati completes 85% of their passes. The game prior to that, against Red Bulls, they complete 87% of their passes. The games prior to that, and this would have been before this sort of formation shift, 80, 77, 80, 81, 80. You're talking about completing somewhere between the neighborhood of 5 to 8% more of your passes over the course of a game. And with the number of passes in a soccer game, that's a non-insignificant amount of extra ball possession and fewer turnovers that you are creating as a result of putting better ball handlers and better passers on the field. Like, that is a marked jump in where this team lives. This team lives in that 75 to 80% completion range. They are consistently outpassed by their opposition in these games prior to what they've done over the last 2 weeks. And again, it's a small sample size. Fine, whatever. But especially if you limit it to the first half of this game, before the game goes wacky, it's 87% passing completion. So you're talking about an almost 10% increase in their passing accuracy with this lineup on the field. That's hard data.
Yeah, if you look at what FC Cincinnati did against Red Bulls, for example, Fatmom has them at 396 accurate passes at 86% passing accuracy. They attempted 463 passes, right? So if you were to knock that 86% down to 80%, that's like 25 to 30 fewer passes completed. I'm not
just not completed. Missed.
Missed. Right. That's like 20, I didn't write it down, so it's off my head. But like, it's significant, right? It's a couple dozen fewer passes, and I don't think it's hard to imagine how much of an impact that could have on a game.
Yeah. If you limit it to the first half, where that lineup is on the field before they start tinkering with it and making changes based on game state in that Red Bulls game, it's 91% passing accuracy. Like, that's why I think, for me, why I am excited about what they're doing right here, and why I feel like even if this isn't your forever lineup for this team, what they are doing right now has to guide Albright, and we'll talk about this in the next segment. It has to guide Albright as to what the summer looks like for this team. But as this team is right now,
yeah,
this is like, you know what else is evaporated? And I posted a video clip about it on the X, the Everything app, all happening on X. You know what else is evaporated? Is this team's inability to play through a high press. Mm-hmm. Is that all of a sudden you put a couple of center backs on the field that know how to pass and can possess at their feet, and then you add in another good possessing player and passing player with Dado Valenzuela as a pressure relief to build and connect the back line to the attack. All of a sudden the high press isn't as big of a deal, and you can one touch pass your way out of it and get into the break. That was something this team has struggled with for years, and it just hasn't been an issue. And every time Chicago tried it in this game, the FCA was able to break out of it. They got them out, they passed them out of their high press.
That there's a moment in this game where Shirilla just straight jukes a dude.
I put that out. That's on video right now online. You can go watch.
So good. It's such a great moment. I mean, you can't expect him to do it every time against every guy, but like, it's been since Gersa Mosquera that we've had a dude who could do that on the back line.
Yeah, and it wasn't just a guy. It was Hugo Kuipers. Like, he put him in a body bag. It was like an and one mixtape move.
Like, just having that ability on the back line to I mean, that's beating the press, is like beating that man and getting the ball out is what we have been missing up until this point.
All right. So
real quick, just to touch on the passing thing real quick.
Yeah, please.
I was curious, as we're sitting here. So like 87% passing puts you in the top like 10 dozen or so teams in the league. 80% passing puts you fourth to the bottom.
Yeah. And that's where this team was living prior to the last 2 weeks. They were just living down in that range. It's just your eyes aren't fooling you. This was a bad passing and bad possession team that wanted to pass and possess. And when we talk about the book being out on this team, the book on this team was, if you let them have the ball long enough, they're going to screw something up and you're going to be able to get a transition opportunity against them. And you've alleviated a lot of that with the personnel choices that you've made. And one of those personnel choices, Kevin, you want to talk about your boy and his efforts in this game last night?
Dude, he has so many moments in this game where you're like, why has he been stuck on the bench for so long before this moment? It is so much of what we were missing, particularly in the midfield. And the reason why, and I know this is silly coming from me, but like the reason why I'm bullish on this team going forward is if you even want to say that, like, oh, when the better center backs get in, this team will be even better defending, does that necessarily change everything else? I think it's going to come down to Dado staying in midfield. And I worry that there's a version of this where they think, okay, well, Obi and all these other guys are healthy now, we can take Dado out of midfield. I think that would be bad. He is playing defense. He's doing some incredible defensive work there. He wins the ball twice to start both the goals in the first half, at least once. He has the long ball diagonal to start off the attack on one of the goals. It's incredible to see him doing it. He is so calm that it negates the high press. He's able to work well with the center backs. He plays so well with Evander. Like, get these guys more game reps and you are going to see more and more fun passing with them. Man. So if you look at the sort of positional chart that gets posted on Blue Sky after these games, I thought this was very funny. Dado ends up until the 49th minute with a higher average position than Momba Dem, like, just to give you a sense of like his positional flexibility. But Dado being there frees up Evander, and even frees up Denke to stay up top. And you're having Dotto do a lot of this work, not having to focus on defense, but when he does, it's a great moment in the game. But letting Anunga and whoever else sweep it up, I think it plays really well. I mean, I would be really disappointed if the coaching staff was looking for when they could eventually replace him when everybody's healthy, because I think he has earned a damn near permanent spot as long as he keeps playing like this in the midfield. I think it's been phenomenal.
I feel like Dotto in the midfield, Pavel on the outside. I want to see it with like a quote unquote first choice center back group, and Guidi or Wobodo in the middle. And by first choice center back group, I mean I Sharilla, Miles, and Miazga if he's healthy, but like I don't need to see like Teenage Hideby there anymore.
No.
I think I'd rather see Sammy Guidi than Matt Miazga right now.
I was gonna ask,
but what about? Yeah, so then I guess you roll with Anunga until Obi's back.
So is the first choice lineup
Obi Dotto?
Yeah,
I kind of want to see it.
Well, because what they're doing right now with Dotto, and he makes the incredible play, an incredible switch off a throw in that starts the break that leads to the first goal. He makes the interception and immediately lays off to Mobadem, who has a great one-touch pass to Evander that sets the second goal up. So he's involved in both goals heavily. What I think is interesting about this from a tactical perspective, and I kind of want Grayson, especially want your take on this because you understand this a little better than I do, is that it really feels like what the lineup they're running out there right now is Anunga is still playing that traditional number 6 destroyer role where he is the true defensive midfielder. Evander is staying way higher up the pitch. If you look at the heat maps of where they are on the field, Evander is staying higher, Dotto is staying a little further back. It's interesting to me that they've kind of decided with this formation, what if we didn't need a box-to-box midfielder? What if we split that role? What if that role is just going to be played by the wing backs, each having responsibility for their own half of the field, going box to box, and that really that role that Pavel had played was unnecessarily taking space up in the midfield for everybody else to operate in. And so what ended up with now is you have basically dueling hens, but one that's sort of connected to the back line and one that's connected to the front line. And it's given everybody a spot on the field to own, as opposed to everybody ending up in the same bunched up pile and being unable to play their way out. And they've sort of stumbled into this, but I think it has legs to the point where I don't want them to come back into this formation with a number 8 and Pavel playing that role anymore. I think it negates the effectiveness of other people. I don't think this is a knock on Pavel. I just think that, like, with the way they had that set up previously, they weren't playing to everybody's strengths. And I don't think it's a coincidence that this is the best Evander has looked over these last 2 weeks as well.
Yeah. So there's a couple of threads on there. I think we can tug on. One is, I think it was last year, maybe might have been the year before, to be honest. We had a discussion about, whether we needed to have like so many defensive contributions from the midfield if we also had, 3 center backs out there, and you also have wing backs. And if you would, and I specifically compared our midfield, who I think at the time was Pavel, and it must have been last year, because I feel like it was Pavel and Anunga.
Yeah.
Together, and to Columbus's midfielders, which was Nagby still on the team last year? Yeah, he was. So it was like Nagby and I think Shambost. And if you like looked at it, Shambost was the more defensive of their two midfielders, and like Pavel was already doing more defensively than he was. And then you also had like Anunga, who was putting up like huge defense. Was just defense. And it's like, do we need to have so much defense here, or like can Pavel handle? I think the time what I was talking about was like, could Pavel handle kind of like the defensive responsibilities, and we have another ball player next to him. And I think another thing that we had talked about in the context specifically of like whether Dada was worth trying out at the 8 was, a lot of teams have deeper lying midfielders who aren't doing a lot defensively. And like, I've thought that a player like, he's not like in today's state, but like a Harris Medunjanin type would have been something that would have been helpful on this team the last couple of years, to cycle connect passes right back to front. And so Chief, I think I wasn't looking at the heat maps, and I don't like have the Dotto stats to back it up, but like, I think you're right in the sense that what Dotto brings with the ball and offensively is probably more valuable to have out there than another, do it all midfielder.
It looks unrecognizable compared to previous years, and looks unrecognizable compared to earlier in this year. And I can't help but think that the reason why is that you're just finding a way to get your best 12 or best 11 on the field and let them figure it out. And if that's Noonan ball, I think it's looked good these past couple of weeks. So I guess the last person we probably need to talk about before we leave this is Roman Celentano. Whale of a game from Roman. You don't face that many shot opportunities and only come away giving up 2 goals without playing some great soccer. Comes up with a couple huge saves over the course of this game. Down the stretch, a couple of huge saves. The penalty stop, though. You want to talk about a gotta have it moment right there?
Yeah.
Because look, the PK call for me was awful. It is everything I hate about soccer officiating, where it is a foul where does he make contact? Does Ayub Lajar? Did I have his name right? I don't want to screw it up. It might
be Lahar. I don't remember.
Lahar?
My bad.
Ayub Lahar.
I'll look it up.
You know what? Honestly, kid, nice shift. This wasn't your fault on this one. And you any shame you have, you redeem yourself almost immediately afterwards. But this is actually, I hate these calls for PKs, even knowing we benefit from it like a second later, where it is a foul in the box where there is no goal scoring opportunity harmed whatsoever. Like the ball is already gone. He steps on the guy's foot. The guy goes to ground like he's been shot.
Of course.
And the PK is awarded from a situation that on the touchline where this guy had no chance of creating anything from that spot, and the PK is awarded. And Roman needed to make this save. I wasn't expecting him to make this save, but Roman needed to make this save to keep the universe balanced. Hugo Kuipers may score 2 goals against us every time we play. He will not score 3. We will not let that happen. Roman was not going to let that happen. But a cherry on top for his best game of the year.
So according to the FC Cincinnati 2 signing announcement, it is Ayub Lashar
Lashar.
Okay. So the team said Lashar. So LA looks like the accent is on the first paragraph, but like Lashar probably is close enough. But it is like they write it with that SH.
Okay. I agree with you, Chief, on the penalty call. If people haven't got a chance, go track down Damon's Twitter account, or the post posted this as well. The audio from Roman after the game talking about the penalty and the mind games he was playing back when we faced them a couple of weeks ago into this game, chirping at the guys, asking them, why are they letting Kuipers take the penalty kicks? Why isn't Zinkernagel taking this? Telling them that he should take, if he takes a penalty this game, he should send it straight down the middle. Like, Roman was in their heads early and often, and I absolutely love it. So hats off to Roman for really sinking his psychological teeth into the brains of these players. I love it. Love to see it. Want to hear more about these mind games. That's a blast. Oh, wait, what was that?
Nothing. I clicked the wrong button.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were playing something.
No.
He was, but not on purpose.
Yeah. Not on purpose.
Not for us. Okay.
Not for anyone. No, I was trying to look a stat up, and like an ad started playing, and we aborted.
And the other referee call, I mean, obviously, so if you're going to give the penalty against us and our true ball don't lie moment with that being said, you then have to give the penalty on the other end a few moments later. Like, you've already decided this is the threshold. So like, in the abstract, I don't like our penalty, but like, it's the same foul.
Well, no, it's not the same foul.
Wow.
That foul on Pavel should have been a straight red. The guy went into him, studs up into the ankle.
Yeah, that's actually
it should have
fair.
been a PK and a red card in that moment. Like, that was horse shit.
That's fair. And then I am curious about this, which is, of course, the red card in this game. Kyle Smith, the ball's coming over his shoulder. He's making a classic soccer play, nothing inherently dangerous or scary. I genuinely don't know if he knows how close, is it Roman Lod is? Lod is,
or if you're Pat Noonan, it's Lod. Which I appreciate. You don't need to learn the pronunciation of opposing players.
I don't know if he knows exactly how close he is. What kills me is he bends down, puts his face in the way. And I guess what I want to know, and I go to you, Grayson, for this. Is the foul the result, or is the foul the process? Because I think if you say, oh, can you kick a guy in the face, give him a black eye, and cut his face with the bottom of your cleat, you'd say, no, you should probably be excused from the field of play if you do that. But I think if the other question is, are you allowed to lift your foot up to kick the ball in the sport of soccer? The answer is yes, of course you're allowed to make an honest attempt to play the sport of soccer. So I'm not sure how we resolve these two things.
Yeah, I think it's tough. So, did they say specifically, like, did they say it was serious foul play? Did they say it was violent conduct?
They never said, as far as I know.
I don't think we got the actual rule that they leaned on to dismiss him.
Which I think that if they would have originally,
it must be serious foul play.
If they would have sent it to VAR, we would have at least gotten a over the mic explanation as to what rule or what caused everything.
So, it must be serious foul play, because violent conduct is when you're not challenging for the ball. So it says like a tackle or challenge that endangers the safety of an opponent or uses excessive force or brutality must be sanctioned as serious foul play.
Yeah, I don't think it's excessive force.
I don't think it's excessive force or brutality.
Yeah.
The first part, a tackle or challenge that endangers the safety of an opponent. does make it sound like it's like results based, but it's not, because
it hinges on endangers, I think. Yeah.
I still feel like, because obviously like the Latte Loth elbow into Hagelin last year endangered the health or safety of an opponent.
Yeah,
and
very much so.
The explanation there was that you can't look at the result.
Right.
Okay.
How can you look at a couple of cracked ribs and a collapsed lung and think that is a violent act?
So what this must be is kind of objectively, did you do the kind of thing that under normal circumstances would endanger the health or safety of an opponent? So the example that they have in the rule is any player who lunges at an opponent in challenging for the ball from the front, from the side, or from behind using one or both legs with excessive force or endangers the safety of an opponent is guilty of serious foul play. So it's not like super helpful, but it does kind of say like, okay, you're lunging at an opponent.
Right.
And you're creating a situation that would tend to put somebody in danger. Right.
Right.
Now, the place that Kyle Smith puts his boot, if Lud's face is not there, is the kind of place that we saw people have their foot countless times in the game. Like shortly
play,
before that, Kuipers I think it was Kuipers, had like a much higher boot in our defending box.
Yes.
That went uncalled. And so like, I know it looks bad with the eye, but if you look at like how high Smith's foot gets, how his foot is shaped, and how Lud uses his body to put him to contribute to the situation, it certainly is an unfortunate coming together.
Yes.
It's tough for me to call it a red, because everyone defending it is saying like, well, it's unfortunate and it was an accident and it was no intent, but it's a red there. And I'm sorry, no. Like, you shouldn't be able to accidentally get a red.
Right.
Like, there's enough circumstances in there. There's enough circumstances in there that like the last game or last week, a Columbus player stomped on the ankle of an opponent. And the ref was actually sent to the monitor and decided to stick with his decision not to give a red there, because he felt like there wasn't intent because the Columbus player was in the air and it was tough for him to like find a place to put his foot coming down or whatever. I mean, to me, looking at it, it looked like he accelerates his foot and stomps, but like the fact that was deemed to be complex enough not to give a red, I think should be here. And like you have to throw out the injury because they do all the time.
Yeah. So I guess the hypothetical would be like, if Lud's face is, let's say, 3 millimeters away from Smith's boot, same play, his head is more or less in the same spot, but there is ultimately no contact, but it's a damn close near miss. I think if you're ruling it a red with contact, you kind of have to make it a red without contact. I think without contact, that's an insane red.
Well, this is a pet peeve of mine with high boots. Is a lot of times, if a guy sees a high boot coming, and I would say most of the time, if a guy sees a high boot coming and backs out of it, there's no call.
Right.
So the threat accomplishes the goal.
The threat accomplishes the goal. Exactly. And I think we would be better off calling high boots. I think that I do think that these should be called more often. And it is in the rules that like you don't have to make contact.
Right.
To commit a foul, where like if you commit a foul and the attacker, is able to like jump over you and fall down, and you don't actually contact them, you still committed the foul there. Right.
Yeah, we've certainly seen that with slide tackles towards like plant foots that just barely miss. But like the overall act was like inches away from a horror tackle. I've seen that given a red plenty. Yeah. And fairly so. Like that makes sense.
I'm the other way. Like this is all fair. This is all fair game. Fair game. This is all. He's trying to kick the ball. And like, I don't understand how this is any worse, honestly. Then I think in the first half, that dome-headed weirdo Andrew Gutman attempted a bicycle kick in a crowded box trying to score a goal.
It's a good point.
Yeah, it's the same shit.
Yeah.
It's like, it's soccer, man. Like, if the only way to safely kick the soccer ball is when you have a 4-foot, like, personal space bubble around you, that's the only way to ever not risk a red card. No, that's dumb. And like, to me, the card should have gone on Robin Lod for lowering his head. Don't lower your head. You're like, not only are you not getting the benefit of this call, we're kicking you out of the game for endangering your own personal self. That's dangerous play. The only difference is that you were the idiot that got hurt from your own stupidity. That is just as readable as other types of dangerous play.
I like this.
I'll be honest. I always wonder why bicycle kicks aren't just high boots.
By definition,
highest boot.
Like a true bicycle kick where you are like doing like a somersault or like a backflip or pretty close to it. It's a pretty reckless move.
Yeah.
Because you're in the air with your foot, you're striking with force, and you do not have control over you in the middle of a crowd of people. Like that's a dangerous play.
Which is exactly why in those situations, look, I think Andre Shirilla has been incredible for this team. I think he's been awesome. I think he is locked on. But you're also the youngest kid. And if somebody goes for a bicycle, we need you to take one for the team and drop your head.
You got to shove. Yeah.
You got to shove him into the path of this guy. Get your bell rung, get a red card, get us an advantage. I would do that all the time if I was a player. I see someone with their foot coming up, I'd headbutt their cleat. Oh, he got me in the face right there. Didn't you see what happened? That's dangerous.
I have the solution. I have the rule. Okay. We're taking the player's waist, and we'll even go as far as to say where the short is, like where the top of their shorts are, since that's required equipment to play the sport. Your foot is not allowed to go above your waist. Your head is not allowed to go below your waist. So you cannot bend down into the way. You cannot kick your foot up in the air. It does pretty well change how the sport would be played, but you would never end up in a situation where feet and heads are in the same hemisphere anymore.
See, like here's what, but like also what's stupid about this is that, so wait, if we're going to have a high boot rule, then Lucho Acosta is more at risk for a high boot in terms of being a victim than Nick Hagland, and it's dependent on how big the person is next to you. Well, then why don't they do the thing they did in baseball where they got a littler human being to stand there with no strike zone, send somebody out there that's, like one of those horse jockeys that just did the Kentucky Derby, and tell them, go out there, run, get a red card on the other side. We'll sub you out as soon as we go up a man, and we'll put our full sized lineup in.
Chief, I have a book for you.
Yes.
It is called The Kid Who Batted 1,000. Okay.
All right.
And it's great because basically the premise of the book, 1951, it's fiction. Essentially, they found a kid who had the ability to hit any ball delivered by any major league pitcher in the strike zone, but it was always a foul. That's his superpower. He can hit every single ball in the strike
How would he bat
zone.
1,000? That doesn't make any sense.
His on base percentage.
On base percentage was 1,000. Yeah,
1,000.
yeah.
But so the kid who batted 1,000, and he ultimately wins the World Series. With
Like we talked about this one time. We were stoned that this would be the greatest superpower ever to have. Is that if you could foul off every pitch, no matter what happened, then you would run the starter through his pitch count and one at bat. They'd have no choice but just intentionally walk you every time, because otherwise it's a no-win situation. You throw 20 pitches just for the outcome that's coming, which is he's going to get on base.
Back when pitchers were allowed to play baseball, I always said they should have focused on pitchers being able to foul tip more, and that should have been the primary focus, is to eat up pitch count. But
yeah, there's an old-timey radio show that I used to listen to as a kid called X-1. It was like a Twilight Zone kind of. I don't know if it was a ripoff or not. I don't know what came first, but it was in the mold of like Twilight Zone and The Outer Limits. Yeah. And there was an episode about baseball where this like struggling team gets this alien to pitch for them. And the alien's got like 10-foot arms. Like he's just like, he's an amazing pitcher, and he gets them to like the brink of the pennant, and they're playing against some team, and they're waiting for the batter to come up, and the manager of the other team says, batter's already out there. And they're confused, and it turns out that the other team, to combat this pitcher, had recruited like a microscopic life form from Jupiter. And so they end up walking in the losing run.
I do like the idea that baseball has to implement like a minimum height requirement.
I think they actually did, so that you can't so you can't do that anymore, sadly.
Damn. I don't think we talked about him enough, but Evander was incredible in this game.
Yep.
First career hat trick?
They said it was his first career hat trick.
I thought for sure they meant first MLS hat trick, but it certainly appears to be his first career hat trick.
Is this the second one? No. Brenner had a hat trick, and Brenner might have had 2 hat tricks. And Kubo had a hat trick. Who else has had a hat trick?
Lucho has to have had a hat trick. In MLS, I don't think we ever had one in 2019.
It is kind of shitty teammate move, though, to deny Kevin Denke his hat trick because you needed to take that PK and then immediately one-up him by getting a hat trick.
Well, now it's out of the way, so like that can't be a bargaining chip for Evander anymore.
Yeah, Vasquez had one in League's Cup.
Oh, against Chivas, and that was on 2 separate days. Keep in mind,
Brenner had 3 hat tricks.
That feels more right.
Kubo had one. Lucho never did.
Huh? I absolutely would have lost that bet.
And going back to the MLS year or USL years, GB had 4 goals against I believe it was against St. Louis. And Emery Welshman had one in the Open Cup against Chief
Detroit. Put him to sleep, baby.
Night.
Did Ledesma never have a hat trick?
I'm not fact checking this, but according to this Reddit post, no.
Okay, fair enough.
Because not going to check that any further.
I don't think Koenig or Ledesma would have had a hat trick, but they were certainly.
GB had one, right? Didn't he score like 5 goals against St. Louis in that opening match?
Chief was not paying attention.
No, I wasn't. I was looking up another stat. I was trying to look something up.
It did come up.
Okay, good. You know what? I was listening. I just wanted to talk about GB twice because he's badass. How about that?
I am not going to say no.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that covers this game. Well done. Fantastic win. Vibes are high all around. Let's head on over to part 2. We'll talk a little big picture about the roster build, and then we'll get you out of here.
Today's episode of the Cincy Postcast is also brought to you by E&L Roofing. Look, I get it. Hearing the words new roof can cause your stress levels to elevate. But when you need a new roof, the folks at E&L Roofing can help make that process easier. Since 2009, they've been serving the greater Cincinnati area and helping to keep everyone safe, dry, and covered, no matter what life brings you. It's springtime storm season, and it's a great time to get your roof checked out. Me, I had the folks from E&L out at my place recently for some work. Honestly, could not have been happier with the result. Even caused my mother-in-law to say, picked out a nice color on that. And you know what? It's a win in my book. Plus, if you need siding and gutter work done, they've got you covered there too. And as a special value for our listeners, mention the Cincy Postcast when scheduling your inspection for up to 20% off a replacement roof, replacement siding, or replacement gutters. You can find them on the web and schedule your free inspection at elroofing.com or L Roofing if you're listening to this on Cinco de Mayo, elroofing.com. E&L Roofing, keeping you covered, even if the back three for FC Cincinnati doesn't always.
All right, we are back. We're going to talk a little bit more about the roster. Let me ask a general question to you two, because I've seen split opinions on this. I have strong opinions about this, but I will not betray my strong feelings about this. Brian Ramirez, is he doing a good job? Is he doing a bad job? How do we view him on this team as a player, on this roster even? How do we judge his time so far? It's early, but he did come in with more pedigree, certainly a higher price tag than Orshano or Barreal in the past.
So I think this is a tough question, because I like a lot of what Brian Ramirez has done for this team, but it does feel a little like Luka last season in that it looks like it should be performing better than it is. And if you were watching the broadcast with the sound on last night, Dax McCarty called him out, basically saying that he needs to be doing more and challenging more to win 1v1 matchups and not being so keen to give up and play the ball backwards. And that what this team needs out of him, what you're seeing on the other side of the field with Pavel is willing to challenge people 1v1. He challenges someone 1v1 last week, wins the challenge, passes to Denke. It leads to a goal scoring opportunity. When those challenges are when those opportunities are coming down the other side of the field, more often than not, Brian's first move is to turn around and pass backwards and play the ball back. And so I recognize it's early. It's his first year in MLS. He's a foreign player. We know that there's an adjustment period to the speed and the physicality and just the general overall way MLS is played. So I'm going to give him a little bit of grace on this, because you can see the talent is there. But where I'm at right now on Brian Ramirez is I need to see more when he's given the opportunities going forward, especially if this team is going to commit to playing more direct with a lot of these long line breaking big switches of play like we've been seeing so far this year.
Yeah, Grayson, how do you judge the job Ramirez has done so far?
I honestly, I would compare him in a lot of ways to the man who, I guess not the man he replaced, but like Lucas Engel, where it was like, I don't think anybody really thought of Engel as like a bad player. Right. Yeah. But when you looked at where he sat on the roster and the position he played and where he was compensation wise and what it would have cost to bring him over on a permanent deal, it really was like, this doesn't make sense for what he brings to use this kind of salary slot, for lack of a better term. And
yeah,
Albright described Ramirez as a max TAM player last week, so I think he should be judged as a max TAM player. And I don't have anything against him, and I don't think he's a bad player, but he doesn't seem to have figured out how to contribute to the team in as many ways as you would expect yet.
Yeah.
But he is also different from some of the other guys we've had in that he's already here on a permanent deal.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where I am at too, is I am now, based on the way they're playing, I'm a little curious what that looks like with Ender playing inverted on the other side opposite Pavel. Because Ender's passing has been not great, but Ender has shown that he has some ability with the ball at his feet. So I'm curious what his play would look like if, instead of being asked to whip crosses in, if he's asked to cut in and then, create opportunities that way. And trying a lineup out with Ender and Pavel as the wings, as opposed to Brian and Pavel as the wings. I'm not giving up on Brian by any stretch of the imagination, but I think Grayson's right. Like, I was expecting a lot better than we were getting from Lucas Engel. And the criticism with Engel was the finished product wasn't there, that the end result, that he did a lot of good things. He hustled a lot, but at the end of the day, you didn't see what you were looking for in the final third. It's yet another thing where you're not seeing what you're looking for in the final third. And when it's two straight players like that, then that does sort of, in my mind, raise a question of is the coaching and the what they're seeing in, the training, is that getting through, or is that effective in unlocking what we want them to do?
Yeah. For me, Brian Ramirez has been really good. And I've been really happy with the performances of him. I think last night, a lot of people are going to look at like heat maps and stuff and see like, oh, well, they were attacking down our left side. Of course, that's, that they were getting us. And the thing is, if you look at the passing maps, like if this team is not building up through the middle, the only other option is Brian Ramirez. And Chief, I agree with you. Like the ball ability to beat guys on the ground, Ramirez had the most successful dribbles of anybody in the game for either team last night.
Sure, but I need those in the final. I need those in the final third. I need him to be more willing to take guys on in the final third, beat someone to the end line, cut a ball back across into the 18. It would be one thing if we didn't see Pavel consistently doing that over the last couple of weeks. We see Ender doing that when he's playing on a fairly regular basis, not as effective just because he's not a good passer. I just need to see Brian be braver in those situations and trust his ability to beat a guy right there, which I'm just not seeing enough of.
Yeah, it's funny. He's a very interesting sort of, I don't know, Rorschach test for fans, because I'm looking at the FOTMob ratings for whatever that's worth. And I don't know if these, honest to God, I don't know if these are automatically generated based on stats, if these are handpicked by a handful of FOTMob experts, but they have Brian Ramirez as the third best FC Cincinnati player last night, after Roman Celentano, who was finished second, of course, to Evander, who scores a hat trick, and Roman saves a penalty. But after those two, they've got Ramirez as the next best player on the team. I don't know if a lot of people would say that. I'm not even sure I would have said that. I definitely thought Dado played better, but like, it's very funny that the wide range of opinions on this. I would be really interested to know what Pat Noonan's like unfiltered thoughts are on the job Ramirez is doing. Is he doing exactly what they're asking him to do? Is he not doing enough? Are they hoping he grows into this phase or that phase more? I don't know, but I find it interesting.
Well, I mean, he gets a lot of action down his side, which I think probably increases his ability to build up counting stats that probably look well on the FOTMob charts. Because when you look at the lineup that Chicago has last night, he's matched up with Zinkernagel for most of the night. Chicago wants to play down that, that side. You want, Ramirez is always going to draw the hardest opportunity because he's drawing a right-footed player for the most part down the right-hand side. So he's going to have more opportunities. He's going to see more of the ball. He's going to have more opportunities for tackles. He's going to have more opportunities for deflections. He's going to have more opportunities for interceptions. And that's, partly because, again, the other team usually puts their better player, or there's more right-footed guys than there are left-footed guys. And for whatever reason, they've also identified him as a weak link in the defense that most teams attack. So I think that there's probably some of that going into his FOTMob rating.
That's fair.
To me, the bigger question that's like bigger for this team right now is, what takeaways do you guys have in terms of, have you changed? Is anything about your opinions as to what this team needs to do in the summer window changed based on what we've seen for the last 2 weeks?
I weirdly am okay with where the defense is right now. I certainly think they can allocate resources differently into, dare I say, better players in circumstances. But Sharilla has been a revelation. And even if everybody's healthy, I think at a minimum, he's the first choice left center back, as probably the best left-footed center back we have on the team right now, until I see otherwise. But I think he has, in however much a guy can win a starting job in 2 or 3 games, I think he's done that. I feel better about Dotto in midfield, which leaves the midfield very congested when everybody is healthy between Buka, Gidi, Anunga, Obi. So I think other than swapping out one of your very expensive center backs for, if not an expensive center back, a more effective center back, I think the most pressing need is second striker, is another forward, is somebody better up top. I'm not even saying Mohamed Dem's doing a bad job. I don't even think Barlow's been bad at this. It just feels like a very upgradable position, and one that I think would have the biggest bang for our buck. Grayson, I don't know. Where would you go to make some changes or go shopping?
Second striker certainly comes to mind. Moving off of 1 or 2 center backs and bringing in replacements, I think is the most obvious thing to do.
Yeah.
And I think they need either a right wing back or a midfielder. So I think if you get a right wing back, and this is not I don't dislike Ender. If you want to try him as an inverted on the left or whatever, that's fine with me. But I like Ender as a player that you can bring in as a sub, as somebody who could start forward in a different formation, maybe sometimes if that's what you want to do. Somebody fast, you can go at tired legs. And then I don't have enough I don't have enough confidence in his experience right now to feel comfortable saying you can slot him back in at right wing back and that's your starter the rest of the way. So maybe you like what Pavel brings. If you do, you need another midfielder, because Gidi's been playing center back, but even if you move him back to midfield, I don't want to rely so heavily on Brian Anunga as a starter. And Obi hasn't really been healthy consistently the last couple of years. So
you certainly can't bank on him. Yeah.
So that's really where I'd be looking, is trying to figure out, is the future with Pavel as a midfielder or as wingback, and whichever one you decide, you bring in somebody for the other position.
Mm-hmm.
It would be the most FC Cincinnati thing for Pavel to become a star wingback for this team.
Yeah.
Like, we always seem to find wingbacks where historically this team has done best when the wingback was here that we needed all along, and we just sort of needed to Hallmark movie our way to it. To me,
and they resent being a wingback, which I think could be in the future here
for Pavel. Yeah. Now, where I've sort of come around to in these past 2 weeks is that I agree we need to probably move on from at least one, if not both, of the two center backs that are high priced that are on expiring contracts. But I think the bigger thing for me is that what these 2 weeks have shown is that the player selection process for whoever replaces any of the people we're talking about, it has to prioritize ability to pass and possess. Like, they have to change what they are looking at in their scouting process, or whatever it is, however they're doing their scouting. They need to find, if they're going to sign another center back, this center back better be able to, we need to start looking for another, like a Chidozie Awazim player, where it's this player can make line breaking passes or has good field vision, or it is accurate with the passes that they make. If you're going to sign another midfielder, the midfielder, we have to be selecting for someone that passes and possesses effectively. And that is, I don't want to go, like, part of the concern I have with this team is that, Miles is going to get healthy. Well, Miles was a part of all those teams that we talked about earlier that's completing 75% of the passes. Yeah. Like, he's not immune to this criticism. Miazga, Haglund, I love them all, but they need to be finding those players that can connect passes, that can play with the ball, play in tight, controlled situations, break out of high presses, get defenses out of shape. And that has to be the selection criteria here. Like, I can get not wanting to play Sammy Guidi at center back, but if you're going to get another center back to replace that spot right there, it's got to be someone that has Sammy Guidi's passing ability, or his ability to play the ball and move the ball forward as part of a build.
Yeah. And like, okay, when this team had more or less its first choice lineup for center backs, it wasn't great. And now at its most makeshift, maybe they're not the best defenders, maybe they're not the best center backs in this league, but they are offering something else, this offensive ability, this passing ability, this, long ball accuracy, that, like, if you're going to be bad at defense either way, no matter who the personnel are, you need something else. I don't think that we were getting anything else before.
And that's the other thing is, maybe they're not the best center backs, but like, we have most likely seen the worst they'll ever be at center back.
Yeah.
Right?
If we just went into Chicago,
like, presumably
one of the best offensive teams who doesn't lose at home, and they did okay.
Like, presumably they would get better with more reps.
Or certainly play worse teams. Like, when they played Red Bull, they looked great.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I think it works. I
think the other thing that should be noted right here is
Neymar.
They need to Neymar.
Yeah,
obviously Neymar.
They did the Neymar celebration
again. Yeah.
Keeps happening.
I think Evander wants it to happen. I think that's definitely, there's no doubt about that.
He's manifesting.
He's like, bring it forward into the world that you want to be. I think that I think that this team needs to just stick with what it's doing until the World Cup. I think it needs to stick with this and needs to commit to this and just reevaluate at the World Cup break. And if that hurts some feelings because some players are on the bench, then, so be it. But unfortunately, as is always the case, they're going to be without Kyle Smith in the next game because he's got a red card suspension. And they're probably going to be without Pavel Bucha in the next game because they said that he probably has a ankle sprain, not a break. Thank God. But so we're back to, let's see, I guess, Ender Echnike out there and Matt Miazga or Nick Hagelin on the back line.
Yeah, you can platoon some of the bench center backs like Hagelin and Miazga.
Some of the scrubs are finally going to get to see the light of day.
Yeah, I loved your line yesterday, Grayson, that it's easy to, this one simple trick to make your bench look really effective is put all your starters on it.
Put all of the money on the bench, and boy, do you have a good bench.
Right.
Yeah, that is something. But I mean, Chief, let's assume in an alternate timeline, all of these starters are healthy. Would you start them again, as is, against Charlotte? Even if you got the news Tuesday that Miles, Hagelin, and Miazga were 100% cleared to play, Obi is 100% cleared to play. Are you running out the same lineup?
I could probably be convinced that Miles should be on the back line in place of Kyle Smith, and that your back line is Guidi, Sharilla, and Miles.
I love that it would take convincing to get you there too.
Dude, I don't think Miles has been all that special this year. I know that's a flaming hot take, and we talked about it in the Discord, that the smart people that you talk to say, well, it's hard to put into quantity what Miles brings to this team because you don't notice the plays that he stops from happening in the first place. And my response to that is, I saw the games where he gave up a shitload of goals that he was on the field. I don't think there's a lot of daylight between the quality that Miles is bringing right now and like what a max TAM center back looks like around the rest of the league. I'm told, like, it's reached the point with Miles that I think he's good because I'm told he's good. And if I wasn't consistently being told he's good and I didn't know that he was in the conversation to make the World Cup roster, I don't know that I would pick out Miles Robinson from a lineup and say, yep, that's the best player on this team right now. I'm an idiot. I admit that, but that's where I'm at with Miles right now. Go ahead, Grayson. Push back on that then.
Well, I'm not really pushing back on it, but like, wouldn't like the kind of
doubling down?
Wouldn't the kind of main defense of like them giving up all these goals with Miles on the field be, well, he can't do it by himself, and he was playing with some, he did, like the other starters weren't available, so these are like makeshift back lines or whatever. But this team has pulled 3 straight results with a backline consisting of Kyle Smith, Sammy Guidi, and 17-year-old Andre, and like real honest to God 17-year-old, like turned 17-year-old this calendar year, right? Andre Sharilla. Maybe he turned it in the fall. He might turn 18 later this year.
Guidi has played center back before this as well. Like he's played as a box-to-box midfielder for his national team or his youth national teams.
Okay, Sharilla turns. Yeah, he'll turn 18 later this year, but like
he's 17.
It's tough to,
which does make him eligible to vote in this primary this Tuesday. So Andre, if you're listening, get out there and vote. You can vote as a 17-year-old as long as you turn 18 before election day.
It's just
it's your civic duty, Andre.
That's true.
It is tough to really justify the whatever. It doesn't matter. Like they love Miles, and so do we for sure. But there has to be a good answer for why they were giving up so many goals in so many games, giving up 4, 5, 6, with Miles on the field, and with the 6th, 7th, and 8th choice center backs, they've come from a pretty significant deficit to pull out a tie and then won 2 in a row when they hadn't. I don't know.
Yeah, right. I guess the argument there is that Miles is the only thing stopping those games from being 8, 9, and 10 goals, right? Like
I mean,
those should have been
the uncomfortable.
Shows.
I mean, I'm open to that. Yeah.
Yeah. The uncomfortable argument is that just Miles is profoundly unlucky, that there were a lot of those games where the XG wasn't nearly as bad as the goals given up. And in this game, Chicago like damn near posts 4.5 XG, but only scores 2 goals.
So
I don't know.
Two of the more significant comebacks that they've had against Montreal, against Chicago at home, happened after Miles came off the field.
Yeah.
That's the roughest stat.
It's tough.
The biggest Miles stan, as if it's some sort of like fan civil war. But like that's the toughest stat to like try to explain away. Like, hey, why does the team look objectively better when he gets a red card? Like, that's rough.
I would suggest, and I think that they could look even better with Miles on the field, and will look even better with Miles on the field, but they have to make a choice to like kind of play how they've been playing, and part of that is probably Pavel stays at wingback until the World Cup,
and Dotto stays on the midfield,
and maybe Miles is playing in a back 3 with Guidi and Chirilla.
Damn.
Like maybe that's how we have to. I mean, like, I want to see it.
If it's working, yeah. Why? I don't. This is like how we came to, like I said before, this is like how Pat Noonan found this system in the first place. Like, if it is working, you don't go and break it. And these guys have clearly earned the ability to keep starting, or certainly be in the conversation to start. Like until the results get poor. So yeah, Chief, I think I'd agree with you of like, you keep rolling this out until it gets exposed and you look at the bench and go, okay, this went poorly because of this. And we have this option on the bench that solves for that. And
right. The only other change I would consider making is putting Obi on in place of Anunga. But I gotta say, Anunga didn't give up the goal. He gave up goals in this game, which is obviously like undercuts a lot of this. But part of
suboptimal.
But like, I guess the question I want somebody to ask Pat Noonan is, and I almost, if I'd been thinking about it, I would have texted Damon last night to see if he could ask this, is that they have made changes to this lineup and to the way they play. And the end result of those changes is this is the most dangerous offensive FC Cincinnati team I think that we've seen in a while. Where, last night in that game, they come back routinely and then eventually take the lead and win. But like, this is a team that scores a lot of goals now. They don't feel out of games. That thought that we had last year that when they go down a goal, the game is over, that's gone. Like way gone. Is this a thing where you're going to have to pick at some point that you either play offense and you're going to leak goals, or you're going to play defense and you're going to struggle to score? Like, is there a balance out there, or is this just a thing that you've got to make a call that having Sammy Guidi on the field as a center back makes your back line so much better at breaking out of a high press and getting the attack started? Having Dotto on the field makes your midfield so much better at passing and starting an attack and leading to dangerous opportunities. You can, but the trade-off is, Sammy's going to get beat. Brian Anunga, same way. It's like he makes a lot of really interesting passes. He's a lot quicker on the ball than Obi is, but he also gets beat for goals. I'm just curious at what point that you have to make a choice that you can put Miles Robinson back on this team. You can put Matt Miazga back on this team. You can put Obi back on this team. But are you taking away the thing that is also allowing you to compete in these games to chase what we've seen before, which is we're going to hold them to 1 and try to score 2, or we're going to hold them scoreless and try to score 1. I'm curious, like, how much this really is a zero-sum game, not a zero-sum game, but every point that you allocate to this is a point away from something else situation.
Yeah. The answer that Pat Noonan might give outside of the press conferences, yeah, with this roster.
Yeah.
yeah, with this group of players, maybe if my buddy could send me a couple of special players for as much money as they're spending, it'd be pretty nice. We could elevate this midfield a little bit more.
It just definitely feels, when you talk about this idea of like when this team gets healthy, that this team gets healthy makes this team less dynamic.
Yeah. And again, like, that's fine if you're getting lots of wins 1-0.
Right.
That was not what we saw at the beginning of this year. And maybe they weren't as healthy as they could have been. But boy, I don't want to go back to that. Like, I'm fine losing and winning and drawing like this. Like, this is fun. This is entertaining. I'm being entertained. I'm getting my entertainment dollar as a fan of the brand and the product of MLS Inc. I am being whelmed with what I am getting. I am very satisfied.
Yes.
And
I'm very sports entertained right now. And hey, the FC, don't look now. They are in 5th place in the East. Or 5th place in the Eastern Conference right now.
Okay.
Things are looking good for the FC. We are above the Columbus Crew. Still
tied with DC United, which still hurts.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be possible.
Don't read it, but just by a single goal differential, which is what it is. We'll clear that out. But scored 22 goals in the East. That is tied for the Eastern lead and the lead in the Eastern Conference in goals scored with Inter Miami.
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Don't look at the Western Conference. Don't look at the Western Conference. Don't look at the Western Conference.
The Western Conference is so good. Kevin, we've kept Grayson long enough tonight. He's our 13.1 hero right here. Grayson, we salute your accomplishment, even if we don't understand it.
Yeah.
Anything else for the people, guys?
Is it 13.1? Did I get the distance wrong?
No, it's 13.1.
Oh, thank God.
Did they hand you a sticker at the finish line?
Yeah, what do you get?
I got a medal.
But they don't give you the sticker for the back of your car so you can brag to everybody that you ran half a marathon?
They give that to you at the packet pickup. And I was actually not to make this, not to just drag this thing out, but I do have a question for you guys. I was wondering about the car magnets for the half.
Yeah.
Or even for the full, right? Where it's like, okay, so if I like do this thing one time, I just get to have the magnet for the rest of my life. Yeah. And if I do another one, I get another magnet. I end up with like how many magnets of races that I've done. Because what it seems to me like it should be, is you do the race, you finish, you can wear the magnet for the next year. You got to take it off when the next race comes, unless you're also doing that one.
No, I think you're good for the whole time. I think that once you've accomplished it, it's like an Xbox achievement. It stays unlocked.
It is funny. How many other achievements do you then brag about on the back of your car?
That's the thing, right? Where it's like, dude, you just put everything that you've ever done on your car?
I'm trying to. The only other achievements,
people have like my kid was an honor roll. You're like, no, I was on a roll 20 years ago.
right. Which, by the way, your kid being on the honor roll, not your achievement. That's your child's achievement. Okay, you don't get credit for that. You may have helped, but that's not your achievement. They did that.
No, I say anything you want to brag about on the back of your car is fair game. I think I love a good car where you get behind it and you know the person's life story before the light changes. like every band they're into, every accomplishment they've had, what their kid does, who they voted for. I love just, you get behind a car and it's like, hell yeah. So, I know everything I need to know about you in this 1 minute right here.
I've seen people with, and Chief, you may appreciate this. I've seen people with the Tesla sticker that's like, I bought this before he lost his mind or whatever.
Right.
I think those people need to customize their stickers a little bit more, because I need to know what you think is the moment that Elon went crazy.
Lost his mind. Yeah.
Right. Like where you like baby farm cool, cutting USAID beyond the pale.
Fine.
Right?
Yeah, right.
or like suing OpenAI. That's when I lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be, I liked it before you went crazy. I'm staunchly anti-Mars. That's actually where I drew the line.
Yeah, like before you started blowing rockets up. That was when it was like, we're too far right here.
Or like, I bought this after he smoked a spliff on Rogan.
But
before another thing.
It does put the burden on everybody else that owns cars, because like I haven't checked in with the CEO of Chevrolet in a while. Could be a monster for all I know.
Check it on Henry Ford. He was fine. Right. No problematic views whatsoever.
Nope.
So if you have like a insurance card with like an insurance company,
yeah,
like your health insurance, let's say it's with like United Healthcare.
Sure. Just to throw one of the big ones out.
You're like, I got this after, So
I think that in terms of money making opportunities, I think that like in terms of listening to the postcast, we should put out a series of bumper stickers you can put on your car that says there is no such thing as ethical capitalism. Listen to the postcast.
I mean, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism. Listen to the postcast.
Listen to the postcast. What the hell kind of podcast is this?
What is happening?
And on that note, fuck Columbus.
The Cincy Postcast is a production of The Post Cincy. You can check us out online at thepostcincy.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky, Facebook, and Instagram. Twitter and Blue Sky, though, you'll find we're a little more active than the other places. We're also on YouTube, where you can listen to this episode if you aren't listening to it already. We are also putting up video content semi-regularly, including the Away Days series. We want to give a huge thank you to Jim Trace and the Makers for providing the music for this episode. They're a lovely band, and you can find more information out about them in the description of this episode. And if you happen to enjoy what you just heard, can I please ask that you like us, that you rate us on whatever app you're listening to, and maybe more importantly than all of that, share this episode with a friend. When it comes up at work, you're talking about FC Cincinnati, I say, hey, I listened to an FC Cincinnati podcast. I think you guys will like it. It would really, really help us out. Nothing helps a podcast travel more than a good recommendation from a friend, family member. That would be awesome. When it comes to the sorting algorithms that control our lives, a 5-star review would be much appreciated. Also, leaving a sort of written review weirdly does more than that. That's how the algorithms work. So maybe say a nice or a mean thing, whatever. Just as long as you give us 5 stars, that'll really, really, really help us out. And if you are looking for more MLS content, check out our other podcast, The World's Gam. Again, a link will be in the description of this episode. That is where we touch on league-wide storylines and news, and we talk about other games and a couple other teams in there as well. I think you will enjoy it if you are just dipping your toes into Major League Soccer. A huge thank you to all of our sponsors. A even bigger thank you to all of our patrons over at Patreon. But maybe most importantly, thank you for listening to this episode.